everybody. Today I am going to talk about two books right now, book series, and this is the Changeling series by Delia Sherman. This is going to be a review of this series. The first one I rated 5 out of 5, the second one I rate 4 out of 5. So let's first, and this is going to contain some spoilers, but not all spoilers. And I will do a non-spoiler at the beginning, and then halfway through, or maybe quarter way through, I don't know, we're going to talk about spoilers. I'm going to talk about these series without spoilers first, and then I'm going to do spoilers. So the first thing is Changeling is about a girl named Neff. A girl named Neff, and Neff is roughly, I would say she's like 14. She's still a child, but she's not like a really young child, and she's growing and stuff, but she's probably like 13 or 14 years old, I would say. And she's very carefree. So basically, she, as a young child at 9 years old or 8 years old, she gets stolen by a fairy and taken to the fairy in between, or the New York between, which is kind of coexistent with New York, like New York City, so her human, or she lives in Central Park Central, which is, and she basically lives there and is taken care of by her godmother and her godfather. Her godmother is a rat. Her godfather is a polka, which can transform into different things like a horse or a boar and stuff, and they're usually really dangerous. This one is really funny, and it's really witty, and it's a lot like, the reason why I like this so much is because I'm into fairy lore, or fairy lore, or even changeling lore. And changelings are people who take children and kind of raise them up as their own, and they replace another child on their own. She actually meets her replacement throughout the book too. And this one is, I don't think this is, so yeah. She actually meets her replacement later on, in the middle of the book. And they go on an adventure. They go on an adventure to find this, they end up going on an adventure because Neff breaks a fairy law in the Central Park because she wants to go to Central Park to this dance that they do every, like, I don't remember, in the so it's really, really good, and I really liked it. So now for the spoilers of this book. Oh, and let's just, actually not now for the spoilers, but the next book is called The Magic Mirror of the Mermaid King, which is again about Neff and some other two characters and stuff. This one is pretty good. It does take place in school, so she does kind of learn kind of how to be a fairy or a fae, which I don't really understand why that would happen. I don't know. And there is a another character in here that kind of is a bad guy, but sort of is a good guy too. So, yeah. So now we're going to go into the spoilers of this series. One thing I really liked about this series was the character. The character of Neff is really, she's really whimsical. So she's very, I want to do this, or I want to hang out with this. Like, she'll just be in a mood, and she'll just do whatever she wants to do. And I think it's really interesting because she doesn't go to school in this book, in this first book, and so she ends up, basically, she ends up going through the fairy world and kind of, you know, journeying and adventuring and stuff. And she's just like a wanderer almost. And it's really interesting. Her godfather and her godmother, they were both animals. So I think that's really interesting how she's kind of raised by wolves kind of thing, or raised by animals kind of thing. And I think that's really interesting. She also like tends to like to hang out with all the animals and stuff, and all the creatures, and she doesn't really find any harm in them, whereas a normal person would find harm in their stuff. And yeah, and so I really liked the it mentioned a lot of like fairy tales in here, and it did have a lot of other characters like that were in here too, as well. And I'm going to get a quote for you. I had a quote. I don't even have it marked. Okay. And this is when she meets Fleet, and Fleet is another changeling. She does meet her counterpart Changeling, as I told, and they don't like each other at the beginning, but at the end it's just so touching. I cried. It was amazing. And at the end they end up like, I guess, like leaving. She leaves and to go back to her hometown and stuff. And Neff is like a hero in a way because she's searching for all these things, the mirror, the magic mirror, and the mermaid king, the scales, and there's another item that she searches for. But so this is one of the quotes. It says for Fleet, she meets in, I believe she also meets in like Central, not Central Park. She meets in like the business side. Let me look. I think she meets in the Dragon's Treasury area, or by that area. So it's like the maybe Battery Park. Yeah, something like that. And so she meets Fleet, and Fleet is kind of one of the dragon disciples, or is going to be. And this is the quote. So Fleet goes, how do you pay for things? Fleet asked, when she paid him for the onion. Enchanted leaves and dog poop. And dog poop? Paid for things? You mean with money? We don't. We trade. Fleet shook her head. Are you telling me you've never been shopping? What's that? For some reason, this made her give me a hug. Neff, girl, shopping is the most fun you can have without magic. Come on, I'll show you. This book also talks about like Peter Pan and other characters, like other like fantasy characters. I'm trying to find another quote here. I don't have them marked. Well, I have them marked, but I just don't have them marked. Okay, here's another quote. I have fallen from a great height, and this is from Changeling, whose name I fail to forget because it's only mentioned one time. Her name is mentioned one time, and she cannot mention her name because she will get controlled, and that means Neff herself will be controlled because they both have the same name. So this Changeling goes, I have fallen from a great height, and the fall did not wake me. Sherlock Holmes says that when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. So, and then I did this one, and this one is really funny. This is when, oh yeah, it starts right here. It says, are you hungry? I asked. Yes. What do you want to eat? Macaroni and cheese. I considered asking her what macaroni and cheese was, decided that might provoke another fairy fit, and told her I'd do my best. And Poker wandered up with a bowl of Irish stew and a glass of black stuff with foam on the top. The Gilness, I guess it looked nasty, sat down and devoted himself to making it go away as quickly as possible. Without much hope, I asked Satchel for macaroni and cheese. It made me wait for a long time, and then it gave me a wedge of cheddar and a hunk of bread and a golden apple. I explained to Changeling that Satchel didn't do macaroni and cheese, and would she settle for cheese and bread? I usually have a cheese sandwich for lunch on Monday, says Chanty. Is today Monday? What's Monday? So it's really funny because they also don't have time in this book, which is hilarious. So yeah. And now we're going to kind of go up, and if you have read this, I suggest you turn off. In this book, we go after the magic mirror, which apparently the Mermaid Queen needs to have in order for, and the Green Lady already has, and she wants it back so that her land can be civilized. And this one's a pretty good book. Halfway through, it kind of had some lovey-dovey interests and kind of YA feeling. And it also had some, bullying. So it had Miss, what was her name? What was her name? I forgot her name. Tiffany, the Queen Bee Tiffany, which she kind of like, bosses Neff around and kind of makes fun of Neff and stuff, and Neff, so it's really interesting. And yeah, and that is it for my review of these two books. If you have, please read them. They are really good, very excellent. And I hope you have a very good day. Bye!